So in today's prices, if I had to buy this all over again, would I? Hey, welcome back to my channel, Dash of Luxe. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a review of the Louis Vuitton Nice Mini. I just wanted to talk about whether or not I think it's a good toiletry bag. If you're thinking about adding it to your collection and you're wondering if it's worth the price, then keep watching. So first I'm going to give you a quick tour of the vanity case. Then I'll show you what fits inside. And then we'll talk about all of the different ways that you can use it. Some people even use it as a handbag, and I'll show you how to turn it into a handbag that you can like wear crossbody. And then we'll talk about the pros and the cons of it, and then I will give you my overall thoughts on whether or not I think it's worth it. So as you can see, it's monogram coated canvas, and then it just has a little bit of vachetta on it. So the handle is vachetta leather, as well as the piping around the top and the piping around the bottom. It has a double zipper pull, and both of the zipper pulls have the little LV engraved on each one. The measurements are 7 by 9 inches long, 5.3 inches tall, and 4.7 inches wide. And what I like about this is that with nothing inside, it's very lightweight, and it's a very smooth zipper, and you just open it up and it's just one big compartment inside with a little back pocket. This is a washable lining. This comes in 3 sizes. So this is actually the middle size. It's a mini. And then there's a smaller size, the nano. And then the larger size is the BB. At the time that I picked this up, there were only 2 sizes. This one and the larger size, the BB. But I decided to go with this size because I liked how small and compact it was. And the BB size was just bigger than what I was looking for. So I find that this is the perfect size for me. It's like Goldilocks. It's not too big. It's not too small. And even though it's considered a mini, it actually holds a lot. It's just big enough for like your smaller toiletry items or, you know, some travel size items. When I travel, I don't like to carry full-size items with me. So this is perfect for all of my mini travel items in the mini knees. How about that? Because it does have a little vachetta leather, which is prone to staining, and you know this gets darker over time. I typically cover this with a scarf. So I'll wrap a scarf around it so that when I'm using it, either when I travel or just day-to-day use, it doesn't get stained. So that's how I protect the vachetta on this case. Or you can spray it with Apple Guard, and that will also help with stains. Since this is a toiletry case, it's going to be around water a lot, right? You're going to be having it in the bathroom, around the sink, around the faucet. So you just want to make sure that you do whatever you need to do to maintain this leather if that's something that you get annoyed about. I get annoyed about those things. Other people might think it just adds to the character. And then in terms of the piping on the bottom, I'll set up like a hand towel down on the sink before I put this on top of the counter so that any water that comes near it will get immediately absorbed by the towel. Okay, I just want to give you an idea of exactly what fits inside. So these are some of the items that I would typically pack in this when I go on a trip. So all of these smaller items that were meant for travel, like my little travel shampoo, travel conditioner, this travel size Supergoop sunscreen, all definitely fit inside. This is a full-size bottle of Louis Vuitton perfume. It's Vuitton, my favorite. Let's see if it fits. That fits. But then when you get to some of the larger items, you might have to lay them down because they won't fit enough for the top part to close. So for example, this Soy face cleanser, if I just sit it up straight up and down, it's a little, well, yeah, it's a little too tall. So if I took this with me in this case, I would have to lay it down. my Sol de Janeiro body spray, way too large for this. So all of these larger items, they'll fit in here, but you'll just have to lay them down and it'll be unorganized, which I don't like. So yeah, just to get an idea of the type of things that can fit in here, I recommend just using all of your travel size items in here. They'll fit perfectly. So now with the insert, I bought this off of Amazon and I will link it in the description box, but I like it because it organizes everything. And here's a closer look at the organizer. It has these two Velcro sides, so if you wanted to take these out so that you just have one large compartment depending on what your needs are, you can do that. And whenever I use this for makeup, I use the organizer because, you know, makeup items are smaller, so they tend to fit more easily inside of this size of a case. So as you see, this is my everyday makeup that I use on a daily basis. And it's really convenient for like grab and go. Like if you don't have time to put on your makeup in the morning before work, or if you're going somewhere and need to do your makeup in the car when you get there or whatever, it's just so easy to just pick it up and go without having to like pick up pieces of makeup from here and there. And then I just kind of put my brushes on the top, lay them this way, and then close it, and I'm out the door. I really like this particular organizer because as you see, it has these 3 middle compartments, which are good for like any liquid items that you want to stand up. So like my foundation. And then it has like these bigger pockets in the front and in the back for some of your bigger items, like your powder foundation, your blushes, your bronzer, whatever. In this front compartment, I just have all of my lipsticks and lip glosses that I've been wearing. And then there's also these 2 back and front flat pockets. So I think this particular organizer has a lot of different organizing options for those of us that are anal and like our things organized. I really like the fact that there's a lot of different ways that you can use this case. I mean, basically it's a storage compartment, right? So you can put pretty much anything in here. Of course, you can put your toiletries, you can put your makeup, but you can also use it for like tech equipment, like your batteries, your chargers, your cameras, just whatever you want to use it as. You can use it to organize your jewelry. Maybe some of your larger jewelry items will look really nice in here. And just, you know, whatever you want to put in here and display it around your house. Put it on your dresser. Looks very nice on your vanity. Keep it in the bathroom for kind of your daily makeup use. And some people even use it as a handbag. So don't be afraid to step out of the box. Me, myself, I mainly use this as a travel toiletry case, as well as when I'm not traveling, it just sits right on my vanity and I put all of my everyday makeup in it that I use on a daily basis because I wanted to try to get more use out of this when I wasn't traveling. Of course, this is technically a vanity case, but some people wear it as a handbag. I tried to wear it as a handbag. I bought all of the things to convert it into a handbag, but it just didn't work out for me. It didn't fit my style. I just didn't like the way it looked. It was just too square and bulky, and I like my crossbody bags a little closer to my body. So it didn't work out for me, but that doesn't mean that it wouldn't work out for you. So I just want to show you like the different ways that you can use this as a handbag. As you can see, the top handle has these little leather loops on it. And some people take these O-rings and hook them into the leather, but when you hook it onto your back, there's this little sharp into it, and I don't want to risk scratching the case. So what I do is I tie a scarf around it and I hook the O-ring into the scarf knot, and then I attach a strap and it turns it into a handbag. And if you choose to do it this way, you just really want to make sure that the scarf that you're using is tied tightly so that the strap doesn't fall off. So now with this gold strap with the black leather interwoven between it, it starts to resemble the Vanity PM that they're selling now for almost $3,000. And I turned it into something that resembles that for however much this cost. This is just a strap that I pulled off of a phone holder that I bought off of Amazon for probably like less than $15. Okay, so I have this luggage tag that I pulled off of my Monogram Eclipse Keep Off 45, and I'm just gonna put it on here so that we can continue to fake having a Vanity PM. And I just found like this random bracelet, and I'm just gonna use it to hook it on to the O-ring. I think it looks kind of cute. I also have a brown luggage tag that will look really nice on this too, but whatever luggage tag you have, just clip it on. Okay, I have a lock from another handbag, and we're just going to slip it into the zipper pull to make it resemble the Vanity PM even more. I want to show you some of the bags that this fits inside of. Typically, I would carry this if I was traveling in my carry-on luggage because I don't check in any of my designer items. I like this size because it is small enough to fit in some of the totes that I would typically carry on board. So my Never Full in the MM size. And that's how it looks in there. And then in a Longchamp Le Pliage bag, this is like a small, medium size. Fits very well inside of my Longchamp bag. And then inside of my Dior book tote. So the pros of this bag is that it is really pretty. I mean, that's what attracted to me initially. I love the structure. I've had this for about 4 years, I want to say, and it hasn't lost its structure. In terms of durability, I think it's very well made. The zippers are still smooth. I don't have any tarnishing on the gold. It's maintained its structure. It doesn't have any dents or scratches. There's no corner wear or anything. Like I said throughout the video, I really like the size. It's just the perfect size for me. It's small, but it fits a lot of things. You can use this in a variety of ways, which we've talked about. Okay, now for the cons. Even though I said that it being a structured case was a pro, on the other hand, I find it a little bit of a con sometimes when I'm going on a trip, because if I'm packing it in luggage, I don't want to like smush it or, you know, do anything to make it lose its structure like I would other toiletry items that I have. I can kind of smush them and configure them down so that they fit into whatever I pack them into. So that's kind of a little bit of a con for me. The interior of the vanity case is light, so even though it is washable, if you get something on it, you can wipe it down, but just be aware that there might be some like makeup or toiletry items that have oil in them or some type of like dye that doesn't come out that you might have a hard time getting out. But my bag insert will help with that. So if anything does spill or anything, it'll get on the bag insert and not necessarily on the interior. And just so that you're aware, if you're thinking about buying this, when I first bought it, the top part wouldn't stay open, but I think with use over time, it does stay open now. So just be aware of that. If you buy it and you're annoyed that this kind of flaps closed all the time, that eventually it will stay open. And then even though I like the size of this, it still is one of my larger toiletry bags. And so I tend to reach for the other ones a little more because they are of a smaller size, and I am trying not to take everything but the kitchen sink with me when I travel lately. So that is a con for me in these last couple of years. And then lastly, it still is pretty expensive for a toiletry bag. Even though it is a designer item, it's still pretty expensive. When this one came out a few years ago, it was still under $1,000. Now it's over $1,000. It's about $500 more than when it first came out, which is typical in all of these luxury items. So that's why I just try to get as much use out of it as I can. So overall, do I think this is worth it? I think it really depends on how you're going to use it. So if you calculate your cost per wear, if you're going to use it a lot, if you're someone that travels a lot, if you're someone that gravitates towards this type of vanity case, if you're someone that's going to use it as a makeup or toiletry bag as well as a handbag, I think it would definitely be worth it because you get a lot of use out of it. Of course, there are less expensive alternatives. Coach has a really nice one. If I didn't have this one, I'd probably get the Coach one, and it's way less than this. So in today's prices, if I had to buy this all over again, would I? I think I would. I think my answer would be yes. I would definitely buy this at today's prices. If you do have the Nice Mini, let me know how you use it. Do you strictly use it as like a toiletry makeup bag, or do you use it as a handbag? And do you think it is worth the money? Let me know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.